Joining me now is Omeed Malik, who's the founder and CEO of Farvahar Partners. Omeed, good to see you tonight. Now, this broke just moments ago. Silicon Valley Bank CEO Tim Mayopoulos says they are conducting business as usual within the United States and expect to resume cross-border transactions in the coming days. Your reaction?
Well, this is probably just out of the receivership in bankruptcy context that they put in a new CEO and that they're going to try to give whatever semblance of ordinary course that they can. But make no mistake, I mean, ultimately what will happen here is that every equity holder of this bank will be completely wiped out. And as you point out, that's the right thing. We didn't do that in 2008. And if there's one silver lining in this terrible story is that every equity holder needs to be wiped out because, as you point out, that's capitalism.
But Roku isn't wiped out, right? Roblox
no, that's
isn't
a fair
wiped
point.
out.
I mean,
their deposits are covered.
That's right. I mean, look, in the context of the last few months, we've had the largest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history under FTX. We've had the second and third largest bank failures with SVB and Signature. And this administration made the decision to protect the depositors. I think it's an interesting question. Depositors are different than equity holders and bondholders and the management team, in my opinion. But that said, I don't think you can retroactively apply the rules here. I think there need to be a clean course of action, and the administration didn't do that. It does smack of a white-collar bailout, as you're pointing out. It seems to me that this was a very politically connected group of folks in Silicon Valley that do have undue influence. But we also need to be very considerate of contagion. How do we make sure that this government right now is not responsible for every deposit in the country? Because it seems like that's the case. Well,
exactly. So my point in the angle was that while the argument is, oh, there's going to be a contagion of run-on bank situation across the country, your point is it could sweep the other way. So the contagion is just let the money roll, go over 250,000. The bank's going to be ultimately rescued, and the depositors will ultimately be made whole, even though they know the rules are made.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the bank definitely should not be rescued. None of the management team should. I mean, just take SVB for an example. I mean, this is not an institution that acted without impunity. I mean, this is an institution, quite frankly, that was more concerned with getting an A+ ESG rating, DEI policies, didn't have a risk manager at all last year, okay, and conducted no risk management as it related to interest rate risk. So I want them to fail. I think we're on the same page here. The only novel question for us all was what to do with depositors. And you're saying that the depositors of this bank should lose their assets because of the type of depositors that they are. I don't want the other regional banks to be harmed. That's the only point I'm making, because regional banks are extremely important in our country. We do not want every American to have to bank with the four largest too-big-to-fail companies. So my big emphasis here is we have to protect regional banks, because if all the power is concentrated in the four largest banks, that's effectively having the government control our assets. And I don't think that's anything any of us want. You only have to look to what happened in Canada when you had the truckers protesting the vaccine mandates to see that the government can actually touch our bank accounts. The farther away that banks are from the federal government, the more liberty and protection that we have. And I believe that regional banks are a way to do that. They protect the local communities.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the regional bank question. However, there is a rule in place that looks like it can be lifted whenever a connected group of people gets in trouble, which is the $250,000 limit. The rule is there, but now it can just be dispensed with when some buddies of Biden's who are important for his reelection are upset. So I feel like that's a real problem. By the way, Signature Bank, we just got these videos from Genevieve Roche. We'll put it back up on the screen so I can actually read it. Genevieve Roche Dector, a money manager who has been on the show. She's terrific. She says she spoke with someone who worked at Signature Bank, which obviously ran into the same trouble for several years, saying the management team was basically like the show The Office. They'd waste money on things like producing parody videos. Here's one of the ones she was talking about. Watch this.
So many useless meetings. Some banks will sell their souls, some banks just feel real old. I wish they weren't so.
Look, the only way we're going to do this thing is if we start a bank.
And of course, the federal government had to, jump in Sunday night because this one was going to go down as well. Quickly, Omeed, how can we take banks like this seriously? And that certainly isn't one I imagine you think should be protected.
Look, of course not. I mean, that is sickening and absurd what you just showed me, but it's kind of indicative of where we are. I'd also point out that Barney Frank was on the board of Signature, and the irony of that as someone who is the namesake of Dodd-Frank, who's now upset that, the chickens came home to roost here. No, we can't be protecting these kinds of banks. It's a broader point, I'll close with, Laura, though, is that wokeism has supplanted merit across our country, and you're seeing the ramifications of that in the banking sector. And we can't reward that behavior whatsoever. And you're right, we have to be very concerned about regular American people who are getting the short end of the stick. I'm with you 100% on that.
Omeed, great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.